So, how do we heal from this? How do we move forward? And then this is what we're speaking about, the mental health of not only just black males, but this our society, because we're just a fragment of the broader society. And if you know about our culture, we're like the movement. Black culture is everywhere on this planet, but it's still a traumatic culture. We're still healing from a lot of things. So but we're very resilient, but we still need help.
Yeah. We need a lot of help, man. I think like it's like I said, it's economics helps. That's a huge part, man.
Yeah.
You look at the school system. I think the most they have is 2 social workers, if that, in a whole school of 200 to 300 kids, right?
Right.
And these kids got all type of issues going on, all type of things happening in the household, community, and everything, and then you only got 2 social workers. So, do you really want to help it, or are you really just attempting to act like you're helping it? So, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's a design system, and us as people gotta
they're putting band-aids on bullet wounds, and that's always been a problem. We need more healers, and more than just band-aids. We need some real first aid in some hospitals to feel some of this trauma.
I remember, I was part of the Nation of Islam when I was little, right? And then I became a Muslim after leaving the Nation of Islam. And I remember them always saying, why would you expect your enemy to educate your children on how to be free, right? They would always say that. And when I got to school, I used to have some issues with history, right? So if your history starts at, oh, you were slaves and then now you're not, I was always like, well, what were we before that? And it's like, there's no history. So part of, again, the frustration and the trauma is like, I had to actively, over the course of 20 years, seek out my history. Because it's not taught at all in school. They'll say, oh, some of y'all was from Africa. Okay, that's not good enough for me, because now I want to know the name of my tribe. I want to know what tribe I'm from. But the things that happened to us got that information twisted and lost, right? So there's a disconnect to say, well, see, I don't care about this area or that area because I'm from here. Well, you was from somewhere before here, right? But you don't know it. And that's frustrating in itself. Once I started to learn about who I was, it helped me. Because then I carried myself a different way. Once I started to understand that I needed therapy, I had to come to that understanding because, y'all mentioned earlier, therapy is not a thing that's really advocated for, right? It's not something that people encourage. But my wife actually told me, you need to go, because there was just too much trauma. Like I was very mistrusting, and not to say I'm very trusting now, but I was mistrusting of everything. Because when you get hurt and you get traumatized, you develop this protection kind of idea that, at any given moment, somebody could do this to me and I gotta be ready at any given moment. And you live in traumatized, like you're in a war zone.
Right, it's coping mexinism.
Yeah. I was living like that.
It's just a survival tactic. I mean, we built in our brain, just as a human being, we build coping mechanisms. If you have anything that happens, there's a defense that you're supposed to have. If you have if you look at any animal or any living creature, they protect themselves to survive. And human beings are not immune to that. We protect ourselves. We put up coping mechanisms. We do things to survive. Whether it be emotional disconnect, a psychological block, just to survive and push forward. So human beings we're resilient, we're resourceful, but at the same time, we're still human beings, and sometimes we can miss the mark on helping our minds heal. So we have to seek out help when we need it, when we recognize it, that, we do need help to fix some of these things if we recognize those things.
And that's why mental health is big for people coming out of prison, right? Because it's the whole fight or flight thing, right? In jail, you're not going nowhere. So it's either you become what the system is or you succumb to the system, right?
You confront yourself.
So you're looking at constant trauma in the institutional system, right? Violent situations like cutting, stabbing, even raping. That's traumatic experience. There's many people that went in one way and came out a whole totally different another way, right? So me doing time, right? I went to the boxes. The box is almost like a mat in the bathroom, right? So it's 23 and 1, 23 in, 1 hour out, right? So that time traumatically, of course, did something to me. So if I was to sit here and say, hey, it didn't affect me, of course it did, because you almost go insane in a situation like that, right? So thank God I didn't do a lot of time, but I'm talking about people that have done 20, 30 years in that type of setting. You cannot come out the same person, right? So it should be a special fund, money put aside to helping those people reestablish themselves back into society, right? Because there's so much damage done, right? To that individual.
But you also look at Michelle Alexander's book, The New Jim Crow, of how the industrial prison complex took a place of, again, racism, economic, and institutional place of slavery. So why is the system built this way? And why the cause and the effect of the trauma is put on people. So in her book, she's talking about the new Jim Crow was the industrial prison complex. Why brown and black folks being disproportionately imprisoned more so than other people in the society? Chinese, European, Samoan, anybody. Why are black people being more subjected to prisons than any other ethnicity? So again, it's institutional, and we have to look at the whole system and try to heal from that. There's an institution behind these things. There's a cause and effect. It's not just made up something out of the blue. There's a system, a protocol set up. Why is it? So we have to ask those questions why, and heal from those.